Welcome and hello again, Storytide people. I'm Charlie. Let this be where you come to take a break, to hear stories from across the web meant to bring you hope for humanity. And if you love these stories, remember to like, subscribe, and comment. Let's begin, shall we? This story comes to us from the relationships subreddit from Avix. The other day I, 29 female, discovered my now ex-boyfriend, 27 male, texted another woman while drunk, then discovered he was meeting strippers his best friend found at work, then found out he was trying to get with a woman at his best friend's work, all while I was very sick at home with COVID. This is my second long-term relationship that has ended because of cheating. I clearly know how to pick them. But feeling cynical about love and relationships, please give me hope that the good ones are real and not everyone cheats. All I can find are stories of the bad. TLDR, my boyfriend cheated and I feel like all men cheat, so please prove me wrong with the story of your significant other being good to you. Dear listener, I know what you're thinking. What? This is not heartwarming. This is the opposite of that. Right, I agree. This story is actually a little heartbreaking, but wait, there's more. It's what people told her that'll bring us some hope. And here's what they had to say. Venari Ash said, I have loads. My husband spent an entire day searching every grocery store he could last year to find a single yellow dragon fruit. Just because I was bedridden after a bad car accident and had a craving for one. I just made an offhand comment saying I would love a bowl of watermelon and yellow dragon fruit before I drifted back off to sleep. I was on pain meds that knocked me out hard. About 9 hours later, he was waking me up with a bowl of watermelon chunks and 2 halves of a whole yellow dragon fruit. There's also the time he drove over an hour in horrendous traffic just to deliver a jacket to me at my office because he thought I might get a little chilly with how cold it was that day. He tries to take my car to fill up my gas tank whenever it gets low so I won't have to worry about it. I usually get to it before he does, but he checks it every day, just in case. The first time he went to a bookstore with me, he didn't know just how much I love books. I split off almost immediately. He found me about 15 minutes later, and I had already accumulated a stack of 32 books I wanted. He thought I was joking for a moment, then realized I was absolutely serious. I told him I wasn't intending to purchase them all right then and there, but I would over time. That I was just going to note them down in my little tiny notebook that I carry in my bag for later reference. So he started taking pictures of the stack, each individual book's front, back, if it had a summary, and spine while asking me about them. When I started putting them back in their proper places, he collected a few he thought I seemed the most excited for and purchased them while I was distracted. He ran out to his car and placed them in the passenger seat for me to find when we went to leave. Sometimes I wake up to little love notes on my desk in our home office, and they always start my day off right. I still have every single love note. He's a sleep talker, so sometimes I'll get up in the middle of the night to go pee and he'll just thank me for being in his life and say he loves me while he's still clearly asleep. Other times it's just gibberish or something not so profound. There have been a couple of nights he called me an ex-employee's name and fired me. He learned how to do a few fancy nail art things to make me feel pretty during that time after the above-mentioned car accident. These are just the small things I can type out while half asleep and on mobile. They're not all bad, and they won't all hurt you. Unfortunately, a large portion are bad and will hurt you, but there are genuinely good ones out there. You gotta keep your head up. See? I told you this was going to be heartwarming. Let's see what others had to say. The littlest baby Red said, I have a few. When I'm having a hard time sleeping, my partner will just talk me to sleep. Hearing someone talk has become necessary over the years for me to fall asleep. TV, movies, videos, audiobooks, anything really as long as someone is talking. But it's so much different when he talks. He will talk about the things he's passionate about. The games he's played, he enjoys. Movies I haven't seen he thinks I'd enjoy. Funny stories about him and his friends. Hearing him and seeing his face light up as he talks is one of the greatest things. When he's sleeping, he reaches out for me every night. He will just grab onto me. On the late nights I can't sleep, I will just sit in bed and he'll be holding my leg or my arm or my side, or just be resting his hand on my head, looking over and seeing his face so peaceful while he holds on to me makes me fall in love with him all over again. When I come home from being out, when I walk in the door, I get a hug and a kiss, and he asks me about how my day went and if I did anything fun. While I'm talking, his whole face lights up when I tell him how much I enjoyed my day. When I'm stressed, he will spend the entire day being a goofball to get me to smile and lighten my mood. I've always said he doesn't need to, but he insists on it because all he wants to do is make me feel good and see me smile. He will plan a dinner date at home. I come into the kitchen, he seats me, lights candles, pretends to be a server, gets us something to drink. He goes back and forth, sitting in front of me, talking to me and to the server about what we'd like, getting back up and being the server and answering himself. Go to make our dinner and bring it to the table. He'll be goofy the entire time to make me laugh. I love it more than any date we've gone on or could go on. That's what I can think of at the moment, but they're the things that stand out the most. I hope you find someone who will make you happy. There is definitely someone out there who will. Just keep looking and don't give up. OP responded, "So cute! Your relationship sounds so fun. Thank you so much for this." And the littlest baby Red answered, "Thank you so much for saying so. I'm happy to share. He's a really funny guy, and he is always trying to make every day fun for us. It means the world to me he does." I did think of another, and I'm surprised I didn't think of it sooner. He goes out of his way to do things for me just because he likes knowing he makes me happy. I've been pretty sick for a while, and even though I'm capable of doing things, he insists he wants to do them so I can rest. He'll make or get my favorite comfort foods when he knows it's a particularly bad day. He stayed up through bad nights when I'm really sick so I don't have to deal with it alone. He rubs my legs and feet when I'm standing for too long, and he'll massage my back to help with the pain I get. He's gone as far as to help me wash up and brush my hair when I feel too weak. No matter how much I protest it, he always insists it's not a big deal because he just wants me to be happy and comfortable. Sometimes I worry I take him for granted because he does so much for me. He never lets me worry about it long though. He's most definitely going to see this, and I hope when he does he knows I love and appreciate him and what he does just as much as he loves and appreciates me, maybe more. Lacrimosade said, "Not my relationship, but a couple I'm very good friends with had their wedding reception a year after their small backyard wedding due to COVID. Drinks flow throughout the night. Both of them have a little too much to drive safely, but the groom ends up a bit drunker than his wife and needs a little help getting to the car. The bride is saying goodbye to some people, and her mother is wrangling a grumpy puppy into his crate. So the groom's sister and I are taking him to the car when he starts grumbling just the most adorable Where's bride's name? I miss her. Is the dog giving her trouble? Let me go back and help. I love her so much, you guys. She's so great. Just an endless stream of that kind of stuff. The next morning, the bride sent me a bunch of screenshots of some drunk text and Facebook posts that he made during the reception about how much he loves her and how lucky he feels to have her in his life. This guy is the most introverted, private person I know. Just an absolute grumpy old man in a young dude's body type of guy. And he not only drunk posted his sappy drunk thoughts about how much he loves his wife all over the internet, he left them all alone after he sobered up and took the light-hearted ribbing from his relatives in stride because he loves his wife. A cyber citizen posted a short one. My partner falls asleep holding my hand, and when my arm gets tired and I try to move my hand, they squeeze because they don't want to let go. If I then put my hand back in theirs, they let out a happy sigh while asleep. Frogging said, "My girlfriend is the sweetest person I have ever met. She's so thoughtful of others and so kind, and it warms my heart. Sometimes, if we're grocery shopping and I'm looking at some fancy grapes or something that looks nice but I decide it's too expensive, she'll put it in her cart without me realizing and buy it for me. We don't live together, so we go grocery shopping together, but buy our own things. When we were visiting my parents recently, we went to a farmer's market and she saw some nice flowers she wanted to buy for my mom. When my brother did a favor for us, she was the one who thought to bring him some beers as a thank you. When I've had a long day at work or a really busy week, she will invite me over and cook for me while I work on some reading or writing. And maybe the cutest part is, anytime I say, "You're so sweet," or "You're amazing," or something, she will look at me and say, "It's just normal." And I'll stare back at her and say, "No, it's not normal." And she will fake surprise like, "Wow, I'm so not normal." And she's so cute. Kitty Foreman is God said. My boyfriend and I were roommates for over a year before we started dating, as we were both in relationships at the time of moving in. Once we started dating, it was amazing. Cuddling every night and great, My ex couldn't keep up with my libido, and my now boyfriend gives me a run for my money. We were spoiled rotten getting to see each other every day, but we were able to maintain our independence. Usually did our own thing during the day, schoolwork or errands, but spent the evenings and nights together. When it came time for us to move out of our student house, I was upset, as we would now be living an hour away from each other. The morning of move out, as we waited for our parents to drive up, we were chatting in my room and he got a text that his parents were 5 minutes out. He looked up at me with tears in his eyes and said, "I don't want to move away from you." And of course, I started crying too. I've had issues with exes not being a motive at all, and I felt unwanted as a result. And just that reaction alone made me feel so appreciated and loved and wanted. I dated someone for 3.5 years who wasn't a bad boyfriend by any means, but he just wasn't the right person for me, and the relationship had run its course. I had felt trapped because I thought I just wouldn't find anyone that was right for me. And then someone who had been right in front of me for over a year ended up being the most amazing and supportive boyfriend I've ever had. If I've learned anything, it's that you shouldn't settle on things you value, like validation or intimacy level or anything like that. Someone who will sweep you off your feet is gonna come into your life one day, and this ex will be a distant memory. I'm so sorry you've gone through this twice. Cheating is really shitty and makes you feel so insecure. All I can say is it's a problem with him, not with you. And don't let jerks ruin dating for you. I wish you the best in the next few weeks. Take time for yourself. Do things you feel you couldn't while in this relationship. And make sure to stay close with friends and don't push them away. Another cyber citizen wrote, "My boyfriend called my phone to help me find it last night and accidentally left a voicemail of a snippet of our casual conversation afterwards, part of which included him calling me beautiful, and you can hear him kissing my face, and me being embarrassed in the voicemail. I saved it to my phone so I can listen to it whenever I want to know." A comment from Business Loquat says, "My first husband was a horrible and abusive person. I have also had other childhood trauma. I was scared to tell my now husband about these things because I thought they made me broken and he wouldn't want to be with me. I told him and he held me and said, 'I am so sorry those things happened to you.' And that was it. He has never judged or made me feel less than. He always validates my feelings and listens. He never tries to use my past against me. Some men will for sure. If I bring something up or he knows something is a trigger, he will say, 'It is okay to talk about this.' I have always felt completely safe with him. I know he will always be honest with me. When we first got together, I had some credit card debt left over from my divorce. He offered to loan me the money to pay it off, and I was very uncomfortable with that idea. He said I could pay him interest if I wanted, so I did, 1%. He said he just wanted me to be in a better financial situation, and he knew the debt had a large interest rate. He taught me so many things about money management and investing that I had no understanding of before I met him. Without that huge debt, I was able to save money and go back to school to get my master's degree and get a much better job. He fully supported me financially during that time. We were not married then. He always wants to make me laugh. After nearly 20 years, he still texts me from work with little funny sayings, or just asks me how I'm doing. I am secure in the knowledge that he loves me and wants me to be happy, and the trust we have in each other is the foundation of our relationship, and really, the cornerstone of my life. I could go on, but the last thing is that he really helped to free me from a lot of the negativity and fear I was holding on to from my past. I remember being upset my ex sending me annulment paperwork so that he could get remarried in the church. And I was like, ugh, I don't want to fill this out and rehash the nightmare that was my previous marriage. And my now husband said, babe, you're an adult. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, so just don't. You don't have to do what he wants anymore. He has basically helped me to be myself. A person I thought was lost. There are some real tear-jerkers in the comments of this one. I tried to share the warmest and the fuzziest ones. The ones that gave me hope for love and felt kind of like a fairy tale. I don't think that there's anything wrong with being single, and there certainly are plenty of relationship stories that are not warm and fuzzy, but I hope that this little snapshot gave you some hope for humanity and adds a little bright spot to your life. If you have had some not so great relationships, I also hope that it serves as an example of what loving, kind, gentle, nurturing relationships look like. And if you've made it this far, go ahead and drop a heart emoji or let us know what you thought. And as always, thank you, dear Storytide people, for your support as this channel learns and grows. Every time you like, comment, or subscribe. It helps with our mission to spread a little hope for humanity. Catch you next time.
We can all stage a march against the powers that be and show what we can believe in a sane kind of system where people still matter and bureaucrats are grown up and don't throw tantrums. The revolution never comes through an institution. What we need is personal change and resolution. Cause everybody's got a brain and story below. So dig deep for its contents and rival the scroll, but then you'll know a little and begin to learn that this journey is a gift, but you still gotta earn your stripes and your struts and dance with the devil. Cause you can't hang tin until you touch hell's kettle. I want a world where people recognize that life is a precious gift from the divine. I want to breathe fresh air and swim down rivers without fears that I might get diseases in my liver. Want to see people wake up, embrace the morning, smile at the skylights even when it's storming. Cause every moment's precious, though life may hurt, but it's the pain that makes you alive with wise words. Well, you can get it, all that money and green, but it never adds up enough to make peace. Trying to fill up the empty space you couldn't complete. So repeat after me and walk in your own groove to the cadence of the drum beat. 1, 2, 1, 2. What do we need? What do we need? Say it again. We need more than ordinary words of thought, and we dream.
He goes out of his way to do not my relationship, but a couple I've she's so when my mother the morning of move out. I wish you the best in the next few weeks. I wish you the best in the next few weeks. I wish you the best. Oh.
Game over.